Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia, and today I'm going to share with you what I've been working on in the past week. And these are very small journals, as you can see. They were inspired by Kay Comer and a challenge that she's run on her YouTube channel. I will leave the details down below. Her style is very grungy, and I really love that. So I have had an attempt at that. I think mine is probably a little bit prettier and a little bit shabbier, but I am really happy with how they turned out. So they're about 4x6, and I've made them using a very heavyweight cardstock and then a combination of vintage music paper and fabric. I used to be a quilter, or I still am a quilter, have a lot of fabric, and I'm really enjoying using that in my journals. So this one has fabric on the pages as well as on the cover. So I also thought that would be nice to do them with a theme, since they're not really meant for writing, they're more of a keepsake. And this one is about cats. Okay, so you can see there's a gorgeous vintage image of a girl with a cat in her arms, and then a lot of collaging around that. This little piece here is actually a frame that I've made using a mold and paper clay, and then I've used Vintage Photo to distress that. So everything has been heavily distressed with Vintage Photo, Tim Holtz Vintage Photo, and yeah, what can I say? I've just really enjoyed these. So up here, the word perfect, like perfect, some little envelopes, the beautiful linen fabric that I've used here. You can see those gorgeous roses. This is netting, and it comes from a very old wedding dress that a friend gifted me. Inside that envelope, there's a little word and a little piece that you could write on saying secret. I haven't put anything in this one, but it does operate as an envelope, and you could put something in there. So on this page, I started off with vintage music paper, and on top of that, I've layered this beautiful illustration of a little girl. She's holding a bowl of milk or cream, and there's a cat. And this is a quote from T.S. Eliot's poem, Cats, or Naming Cats. And I'll just read it out for you. Before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend, some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. So I thought those two went really well together and were really cute. Some buttons, some paper flowers, little bits of lace, lots of muslin. On the back of that one, I've made a pocket. Wherever possible, I've tried to sew, but there is also gluing. You can see the gorgeous fabric here. This is part of an old doily, and there's some other bits of lace. Up here, this is a piece of sari silk, and I've put in a rusted pin with a little pearl on that and some coloured pearls across there. The rusted pins, I actually do it the old-fashioned way, and I have some, as I term it, cooking all the time. So this is a little card, and it has a quote that says, "What greater gift than the love of a cat?" And Charles Dickens said that. This is a little commercial piece, like two little kittens looking over a gate. This was a little piece I found on Pinterest. There are kittens and they're poking their heads out of an envelope, and I've put the words friendship up there. There is writing space on the back of these, but as you can see, not really a lot, but yeah. And this is a little quote from a poem by William Wordsworth, and it says, "See the kitten on the wall, sporting with the leaves that fall, but the kitten, how she starts, crouches, stretches, paws and darts, first at one and then its fellow, just as light and just as yellow." So I thought that was really evocative of how you see kittens playing with things. They like to pounce and toss and do lots of silly things. That's why we love them. So up here, the words "love always" that I've typed out on my computer, all of that's been layered onto vintage music paper, some lace, some tea-dyed muslin. This is an image from Calico Collage, again, a little girl holding a kitten. I'll leave the name of that kit in the description box. And on the back, I've used the beautiful fabric, some lace. I have left the threads, you could cut those off. But I like how they looked. And this is actually a little quote from Freud. "Time spent with cats is never wasted." On this side, another calico collage. I fussy cut that and added some lace, some paper flowers. Up here, another rusted pin. I have a little charm that I think I'll hang off that, and some sari silk, and a little quote down here, and it says, "I don't care what anyone thinks of me, except cats. I want cats to like me." And the way that I decided I'd finish off these little books is using the fabric that I've used throughout. This one I have added some little pieces too, but I'm going to put this quote on the back of all of them too. Some things just fill your heart without trying. And that was what I was aiming for with all of these little books. Things that we love and yeah, might like a little keepsake about. So this one is about home. This beautiful image is actually, if you collect china, you'll know that there's this china called transferware, and this is actually one of the transfers, an old pattern that would have been placed onto the crockery. So some very vintage buttons here, lots of layering. There's more fabric. This is actually a printed duck, so it's quite coarse looking. The sari silk is a little bit grungier than on the previous one. It tones in really well with this fabric. And up here in the frame it says, "Home, our little piece of heaven." On the back of this one there's a pocket, a heart. This is a wooden button in the shape of a heart, which I've distressed. There's a little quote from Henry Van Dyke down here, and it says, "Every house where love abides and friendship is a guest is surely home, and home sweet home, for here the heart can rest." And then into that little pocket I've got an envelope that says "Home Sweet Home," and there's a little piece of paper in there. That's a graphic 45 stamp, and another little quote that I've printed out that says, "Home where our story begins." On this page I've started with vintage music paper, and I've got some you can only just faintly see it, but muslin, a lot more of it down here, a lace butterfly, some paper flowers with the little pearls in them, and two words that I've printed out, "Blessed" and "Grateful." And this is actually an old vintage calendar, and it says, "Home, home, sweet, sweet home. There's no place like home." Some lace there. On the back side, vintage music paper, some of the fabric, some muslin, some lace, more gathered up netting here, and a wooden button. This one's got two bluebirds on it and some flowers. And this image is from Crystal Art, and I'll leave a link to her store in the description box, and I've printed out the word treasure. On this side you can see the beautiful fabric. I love this taupe sort of colour. I've added in some laces. This is a little bit of organza, some flowers, and all layered onto muslin. And this little saying says, "Take time to make your soul happy." And for me, part of that is my home. Having a home that we treasure, that's important to me. So up here, "Home, our little piece of heaven." This is a vintage image of a greeting card, some gathered muslin. This is vintage music paper, part of a doily. On this side I made a little pocket, started off with the vintage music paper and put a couple of laces, and there's a little quote from Henry Longfellow down here, and it just says, stay at home, my heart, and rest. Home-keeping hearts are happiest." So I made a little booklet to go in that. That's the Crystal Art, another Crystal Art image, and just some scrap pieces of paper that you could actually write on. So as you can see though, it's more of a sort of keepsake, a decorative piece. I think that they would make really nice gifts. This is the last one that I've done, and I've called it Garden. And this image is actually from Screech Owl Studios. I bought one of her kits, and it had lots of cottage garden images in it, and I just really love them. So underneath that is a doily. There's some beautiful fabric that I've used for this one. It's actually a gorgeous, gorgeous quilting fabric from Lessian in Japan, and it features beautiful blue flowers. But I thought I'm not going to use it. I only had a tiny piece. I'll use it in this journal. So if I take those out of the pocket, you can see it. It's just the most beautiful fabric. It's very fine, delicate cotton fabric and just exquisite printing. So lots of laces up here, some buttons. These little pieces here are from the Screech Owl Studios kit. And then I made this one up. Some see a weed, some see a wish. And I've used a stamp of some dandelions blowing. My grandmother used to always say, 1 year weed, 1 year seed, 7 years weed. But she liked some weedy things as well because they have pretty flowers. So there's a little quote, and this says, for flowers that bloom about our feet, for tender grass so fresh, so sweet, for song of bird and hum of bee, for all things fair we hear or see, Father in heaven, we thank thee. And that's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually love gardens. I love hearing birds. I love flowers, and it makes me feel good to be in the garden. So up here it says, a garden nurtures the soul. And this is another of the Screech Owl images. And I've put the word grateful, some paper flowers, and all of that's been layered up onto some vintage music paper. So lots and lots of layering. Where possible, I've sewn, but there's also glue. And I'm refining my technique as I go. I think I've veered away from Kay's style, but I really like what I've created. So this is a page also from Screech Owl. Onto that, I've put another of her images of a cottage garden. I've typed out the word nurture. This is a piece of sari silk, and there's a very rusted pin on that, and a key, and muslin, and bits of lace. And up here it says, to the bramble flower. So here you can see the beautiful Lessian fabric, some more lace. There's a little bird with a nest, the word grow, and a little saying down here which says, and this was actually part of this on the Screech Owl kit, and I've typed it out to make it larger. Though not a daffodil was up, the garden smelled of spring, and in the trees beyond the wall, I heard the blackbird sing. Again, another of the Screech Owl images is this cute little girl with, I think it's a cat in her arms, and a beautiful cottage garden. And this little quote also comes from the kit. They promised me a flower bed that should be truly mine, out in the garden by the wall, beneath the ivy vine. Another piece of sari and all muslin, bits of laces. So another piece from the kit, and I fussy cut that and put the lace in. There's an envelope that you could put something in, a little piece of sari, and just a little bit of bling. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything. And that's a quote from Cicero, which I love. And that's the end. There's that beautiful fabric, and again the quote that I like, some things just fill your heart without trying. So that's what I hope all of these little journals are going to do, and I've got lots more in my head to make. Stay tuned for more, and I would love you to leave a like or a comment in the description box. Thanks guys.